Hi, everybody. This is Kimberly Gilbert. I am joined today by Rena Whittaker. We are actually celebrating Women's History Month, or I should say, I am in particular, in a very special way. My company is Everything Webinar, and I now am co host of the Virtual Presentation Skills podcast. And guess what? Owning a 22-year-old company and starting a podcast and all of the things along the way, you don't get to have that kind of confidence and power and belief in yourself unless you are surrounded by people that have those same characteristics. I don't think in American culture we say thank you often enough or loud enough. So my unique way of thanking people often is thank you in less than a minute. That's something that I do very publicly on YouTube. And Rena, you've probably received one of those thank yous as well. But this is my way to say thank you to some amazing women who have inspired me, mentored me, led me, and really just took me under their wings on my own leadership journey. So I'm really, really interested to have all of you listen to Rena's story because it's a very powerful one. And Rena, I'll let you go ahead and dive right in. So Rena Whittaker, author of Being Tribal and president.
Being tribal.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Rena Whittaker, who is president of Being Tribal. Rena, let's go ahead and have you jump right in.
Thank you so much for welcoming me into this really special month of Women's History Month and this really special time to be a part of your podcast. I'm super excited. It has been such a joy for me to watch you rise into how God's calling you, the universe is calling you to really allow individuals to up their game business wise and building these deep relationships. I, for one, know that I am better off having Kimberly in my life. It has been such a joy to become friends with you, to do our accountability calls, to spend time together, and to mentor each other. I think women need each other. We all need each other. And I'm excited to be here with my company, Being Tribal, and share some of my story about how I got here and what my truths are around leadership at Being Tribal.
Okay, that is just absolutely amazing. I know everybody that's listening in this room with us or in your car, at your office, I know you're going to be really interested in this story. So, Rena, what led you on your journey to leadership? And also, you could weave in there how you believe you have paved the way for other women that are coming up the ranks behind you.
Gosh, that's a great question and a big question as well. I published my book, Being Tribal, Practicing Life in 1 Degree Shifts in 2019. I was already an executive leader at that time. I really feel like I've led 5 lives in my lifetime to step into leadership with confidence because we all have this imposter syndrome of especially women who ask questions about whether or not people think we're worthy even though we have proven our worthiness over and over again.
Mhm.
I stepped into leadership by having wonderful leaders and mentors in my life. Being tribal is that it's around surrounding yourself with people with the same energy who are committed to helping others rise in this culture of empowerment and advancement without competition and
Ah,
how we level up.
love
I was
that.
having,
Can we say that again? Let's just say it again. Advancement and empowerment without competition.
yeah, that
Ladies,
culture of
women, girls, everybody listening.
so,
Advancement and empowerment without competition.
it is so important because we stand on the shoulders of a structure that's been built for us and in some case with us, but not with our full voices.
Mm,
And we have been told that our value is how best we serve humanity, not our intrinsic wisdom. We've
mm.
been told, I know in my family, I was told women were to be seen and not heard unless they were very angry. That's both sides of my house being Chinook Indian and Italian. So that used to make me so angry. And now I just understand that was generational. And we have to break the codes, those ties that bind us around who we are and what our truths are and what our divine gifts are as women leaders, because we bring so much compassion. We're able to connect both sides of our right and left brain much more quickly, have agility. We give each other grace, we support each other. And I've also witnessed how we at times can compete with each other, not only through magazines and what we, the housewives or whatever, right? How we value our looks or our money, far more important than our character and our integrity and our sisterhood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had this great conversation about a month ago, and I ended up speaking to a women's group last week. It was Big Eye, Oregon, and it was the first women's summit, independent women's summit they'd ever done. And these are independent insurance agents. And one of the women who introduced me, who's a leader in that association, in a conversation, she said, I read this article about being a ladder puller as a woman. And I was so like, oh, that's so interesting. And I'm finishing up a post that I'm writing. Don't be a ladder puller, be a ladder placer. Because
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes women think that there's only so many seats at the table. And when they work hard to get the seat at the table, sometimes they don't place a ladder for other women to follow. They get a little territorial.
Mm.
And I don't think it's purposeful. I think it is, this is my space. I need to protect my space.
Mm. Mm. That is so
Leadership,
interesting.
leadership for me, I had great leaders in my career and I had terrible leaders in my career. And you know the difference when you feel supported, you feel empowered, you feel energized when they are coaching you, even if there's been a mistake made.
Right.
You feel like there's hope that you can see the big picture and the small picture. Wow. And I was dedicated as I grew in my leadership and became an executive leader to make sure that I was also that encourager, that
Right.
I was creating that culture of empowerment and advancement without competition, that we
Mhm.
all rose together. Go ahead.
It's so true. And you have stayed true to that message since you and I very first met. Hey, let me just tell you that it does work to actually stalk people on Instagram and reach out to them, which I did with Rena. That's how we met. And I just said, hey, we have an acquaintance and he thinks that we should get to know each other. And will you meet me at this restaurant in downtown Portland? And she said, yes. I'm thinking, wow, this was meant to be. Your vibe, everything that you say, everything that you're accountable for and you hold me accountable for has been exactly true to your word for being tribal from the very beginning. People are kind and they're humble and they're loyal and confident and just all of those characteristics. I would not be as confident as I am right now had we not become accountability partners because you give me the confidence to say, you know what, I'm going to be held accountable and I'm holding someone else accountable. And we do it together. And that really, really promotes a lot of confidence within me personally. You feel like you have paved the way for other women in such a way that you're explaining the ladder puller versus the ladder placer. And maybe that's a good way for other women to think about this as an overarching theme.
Absolutely. There are four being tribal truths. One is love conquers hate every day, and being connected to a higher purpose than yourself is
Mm,
really important to connect to that every day. Why are you here? What are you doing with your divine gifts that you've been given? And pulling all that wonderful energy into yourself to fill up your own cup. So the four being tribal truths is one, love conquers hate every day.
mm,
Two, you must love yourself first. Three, we need each other. And four, everything is possible. Now,
mm,
the reason why I say it like that, so look, being connected to the higher power, the upward, how am I connected to something greater than myself? What's my purpose? The importance of connecting to something bigger than yourself. What's your purpose for being here? Using your divine gifts. And then pulling that energy, that upward, inward, to really love yourself first. Now, when I say love yourself first, some people may say that's really selfish, but it's not.
mm,
It's self full.
mhm.
And when we can fill up our own cup, then we can serve out our gifts to the world to make the world a better place. So love yourself first. After that, love conquers hate every day. Love yourself first. And then we need each other. If we have learned nothing over the last 5 years, it is how important community is, how important is connecting with others, especially if you're a woman connecting to other women. And as you raise your vibration, right, your vibe attracts your tribe.
I love that.
Thinking thinking about relationships with other women, because we need each other, we need that human connection. We've been tribal. We often think, even though I'm Chinook Indian and I'm Italian, we think about tribe in this country very different than tribe is thought about in other countries. We think
Mm-hmm.
about, that's cultural appropriation. That is, if you're not native, you can't say those words. We have been tribal since the beginning of humankind, and everyone in tribes had a role to play for the success of that tribe.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to challenge that. I hear that once in a while. Well, you can say tribal because you're Chinook Indian. Let me tell you, this is a global term,
Right.
and we cannot narrow the humanity of who we are and the power that we have as human beings to connect with each other by narrowing it or
Well,
commodifying it.
yes. Well, I love that you say that because in the previous interview pod, we also had Alice Hyman, and she's explaining that leadership used to be a triangle and now it's an infinity loop. So everybody gets to the top of that loop at some point in time, and everybody has a time to lead. And that is all part of our past history, our current situations, and we are going to be part of somebody else's history. And we must think about that. And we must say thank you in a
Yeah,
big
the
way.
attitude of the attitude of gratitude is a great way to connect to that higher energy to vibrate in, right? So love conquers hate. Love yourself first. We need each other. If we sit in those three top principles, the fourth principle of everything is possible, anything is possible,
Yes.
how I've seen it manifest over and over again. So thinking about as a leader, as a woman, the people who paved my way, both men and women, I would say that the folks that heard me and saw me, that know me, care for me, and ease my way is a motto I love to use. I really felt seen. And I felt someone who was supporting me, saying, what do you need to be successful? What are the barriers that are in your way? And how can I move those barriers for you so you can grow in your professional career?
Oh, I
People
love
who
that.
valued me when I didn't value myself,
Mm,
who took a chance on me because I didn't have a master's or doctorate, who
right.
took a chance on me and trusted that I had grit. Or I kept on saying, I know I don't have the background you're looking for, but I'm telling you, I'm really good at what I do.
Right. Right.
Give me a chance. Right. And those words I could speak only because other leaders imbued them in me. Right.
Mhm.
They brought them to life. The importance of thinking about being a leader as a woman in our world is to really link arms, listen to the teams that you have, understand what they want their life to look like and feel like, and that the job at hand that they have is going to help them fuel that dream that they have, maybe for their family. Maybe they want to go on a big trip, or they want to have more children, whatever that is, doesn't matter. Or they want to start their own company, right? I couldn't have started my own company, Kimberly, without other women like you who supported me and said, you can totally do that. That's
Mhm.
another piece about having a tribe around you or other women around you who are supporting you. If you're an entrepreneurial woman, whether you're an
Yes.
executive, you're a director, you're a manager, and you're moving up, is to have individuals who say, I know you can do this, and I believe in you. And when you have other people around you that are lifting you up in that kind of sacred container of friends and colleagues, you actually begin to believe your own press, right? Believe what you're worthy of. And when you say you can do it because it changes your spirit when
Mm.
someone is cheering you on and saying, you've got this.
Mhm.
It gets us
Mhm.
out of our grovelly brainstem. It gets us out of our top 40 playlist in our head of we're too tall, too short, too thick, too thin, not organized enough. We're not going to make it. All those things, those thoughts or ideas that we have heard from the time we were children growing up from teachers and parents, and even assumptions we made by someone's response to us, we create a narrative in our head that's all full of limiting beliefs. And if
Yes.
we change out those limiting beliefs with what we know we can accomplish, and more importantly, why we want to do the work. What difference are we going to make in the world? Knowing what your divine gifts are, how you want to change the world through whatever you're doing for the better. And
Woo! All
that is
right.
what
Well,
great
I'm
leadership
jazzed
is.
right now. I'm going to run right out there and change the world in my own unique way. I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us for the celebration of Women's History Month. If you're listening and you have a special way that you share your love of women and women's history, tag us, put a post somewhere on social media, tag me, Kimberly, tag Rena Whittaker. You can definitely find us out there. Everything Webinar, Being Tribal, we're on pretty much all of the platforms. So we would love to hear your story as well. I think this is a very important month and very important for us to celebrate each other as women. Thank you, Rena, for joining us.
Thank you, Kimberly. I am grateful for our friendship, our mentorship, that we help each other, our accountability, and how we rise together. That's what we should all be doing, is rising together in our path of greatness. So thank you.
Absolutely.